Have you ever noticed how some words, once incredibly popular, just seem to vanish from our vocabulary, or worse, sound completely dated when someone uses them today? It is fascinating how language evolves, reflecting the pulse of an era. The word groovy, a quintessential expression of the 1960s, largely fell out of hip usage by the 1970s because it became strongly associated with the previous decade's counterculture and was ultimately overused, losing its original cool and rebellious edge. Think of slang as a secret handshake for a particular group or generation. In the 60s, groovy perfectly captured the feeling of something being excellent, fashionable, or just plain good, especially within the burgeoning hippie and counterculture movements. But as with all things trendy, once a word crosses over into the mainstream, its exclusivity and therefore its coolness begin to erode. When parents, advertisers, and even political figures started saying groovy, it lost its subversive charm and became a linguistic relic. Moreover, the social landscape shifted dramatically between the 60s and 70s. The optimism and idealism of the earlier decade gave way to new challenges, different musical styles like disco and punk, and a more introspective mood. A new generation of young people emerged, eager to forge their own identity and express it through fresh slang that distanced them from their predecessors. Groovy just did not fit the evolving cultural vibe. This phenomenon of words gaining and losing popularity is a common thread throughout linguistic history. It is a process linguists call lexical diffusion, where words spread through a population and then, often, fade away as newer terms emerge. Other slang from the 60s like for out or digging it also saw their appeal diminish for similar reasons, replaced by expressions like out of sight or right on in the 70s. Understanding this ebb and flow helps us appreciate how deeply language is intertwined with social and cultural change, acting as a vivid timestamp for different periods. So, the next time you hear a phrase that sounds a bit out of step, remember that it is not just an old word. It is a snapshot of an entire era, a linguistic marker that tells a story about generational shifts, cultural movements, and the ever-evolving nature of human expression, connecting us more deeply to the past.